Good day all, welcome back to South African Prepper. So for this video, we're going to be discussing food shortages in the world, the reason why we actually got forced into being preppers, and the reasons why we started prepping more than 10 years ago. So please stay tuned, please like, share and subscribe, and thank you very much for helping us to grow this channel. So, reason number one why we actually got forced into starting to prep is because of the control of money. So, the bigger hands, we've spoken about them before, the globalists. What they have done throughout the years is they are basically controlling money. So, how do you control money? Well, number one, you control money by owning the printers. So, in a case like South Africa, the Reserve Bank actually prints money. They decide how much must be printed and then where the money must go. A case like America, you have the Federal Reserve, and we have seen that the last, let's call it 15 months, they have printed a large amount of cash money to be circulated. So whoever controls the printer controls the money. And then another way of controlling the money is via debts and loans. So we all know that they use debts and loans to actually enslave people. Now, I'm no financial guru, and you can look into this and Google this yourself. But what we have actually seen in the last, let's call it again, 15 months, are governments extending grants to their citizens in order to sort of make them reliant on government monies. So another way of controlling the money, and it is becoming more and more evident now that money will very soon go digital. So the cash monies won't circulate anymore, and we're actually living in this age already, by which we swipe our cards for almost everything we buy online. So they will be taking away the cash money control that they're currently having over us by actually going 100% digital when it comes to paying things, and they will be able to track, well, they've always been able to track money, but they will be able to track money more efficiently, because cash monies is very, very difficult to actually track. So the second thing that they are controlling is power. So in South Africa, we have literally got one company called Eskom, and Eskom actually is the only company in South Africa that is able to produce and then sell power or electricity to the citizens of South Africa. Now, once you have a monopoly like this, you can literally control the power. And we've seen this the last 20 years in South Africa. The big issue we have with this is that because of the corruption in South Africa, because of the low maintenance in South Africa, because of the skill levels and BEE in South Africa. Now, BEE is where it's a policy that is implemented or has been used by the government for the last 27 years, where they only employ a certain section of the population, or in this case, maybe friends of parliament, maybe friends of the government, and certain black or only black individual. And this normally leads to unskilled workers that are managing these power grids in South Africa. So the consequence being that we are in consistent blackouts or rollouts, or we have given it a name in South Africa called load shedding. So this is where we have our power cut for at least 2 to 4 hours every single day. So this is how they control the power. They control the power by having a monopoly, and then they can decide, and we have seen this the last 10 years in South Africa, they decide who gets the power, how much power you get, and what you will actually pay, because there is absolutely no competition within the system. And then the third thing that they are controlling is food. And this is why we say that we are actually facing, or we will be facing, a food shortage in the very near future across the world, not just in South Africa. So we are farmers, and what we have seen the last 20 years happening in South Africa is that of amount of farmers have actually declined. Our population have inclined, it's become more, yet our farmers, or the people that farm, have actually become less and less. Why is this happening? Now, we used to have about between 60 and 80,000 farmers, and in the last couple of years, I think we're currently standing on maybe 25,000 commercial farmers in South Africa. And you need to understand that this is part of their policies to control food. Now, it is much, much easier to control, let's say, 1,000 or 10,000 massive big farms or farmers than it is to control, let's say, 50 or 60,000 smaller or individual farmers. So this is one of their strategy, is to centralize food, and we have actually seen this. We actually have a name for it. We call them mega farmers. So these are farmers that actually increase in production and they increase in size, while the smaller farmers or the homestead farmers, which we don't even have in South Africa, actually falls away. What they've also done in South Africa, they have centralized the market system. So if you are, let's say for an example, a vegetable farmer, you can only take your produce to a centralized government-managed market, which they control. And believe me, they make a lot of money on the side from allowing you to now go put your products there and market your products for you. So this is the three things that is currently happening in the world and in South Africa. Is one, they are controlling the finances or the money. They are controlling the power or the electricity. And number three, they are actually controlling the food. And this is why we believe that food shortages in the near future is actually coming. And this is the reason why we started prepping, because we already saw this happening or starting to happen more than 10 years ago, where farmers became less and less every year. And especially last year, we know of probably about 20 or 30 farmers that never made it through the lockdowns because they couldn't sell their produce, because they weren't allowed to travel, because they couldn't get supplies for production. So we are definitely seeing a shortage of food coming in the world very shortly.